Listen to me, motherfucker. I'm talking. I say horrible things sometimes because I think they're funny. My podcast is a verbal mosh pit because it's just me pinwheeling around. You don't know where the fuck I'm going to wind up, and I generally have no idea when it's going to end or start. I'm responsible for this whole goddamn thing. I want a little respect from you people. Hey, what's happening? Mike Schmidt, 40-year-old boy podcast. I now have an hour to fill. From this point right here. I'm sitting here in Lily's house staring at the ceiling going, man, what the fuck? How do I fill this time? And look, I know I always fill the time, and yet, you know how I fill the time? By telling you that I can't fill the goddamn time. I am a fucking dick. All right. Look, folks, here's something I don't have and something Lily doesn't have, and you might have them. I know I've heard from some of you that have them. Children. All right. I don't have any kids. Lily doesn't have any kids. You may have kids, so maybe you can set me straight on this, folks. But here's my philosophy on kids, or at least part of my philosophy on kids. Don't hit them at the parking garage, okay? Is that cool? Lily, are you on board with that? Is that how you feel about kids?
Yes.
Yeah, if I adopt a kid, if I'm lucky enough to get to win the Powerball and then buy some Chinese babies, I will never, I promise, I swear to you now, as your host of this show, I promise you I will never slug one of them at a parking garage. I was parking here. Lily she lives in a very exclusive street now where you need permits and things like that to park. So I have to park in an adjacent, and something else with ADJ, parking garage. And then I have to make my way through a bunch of tourists and get a stamp. And then I have to make my way back through those tourists and come out and enter a back, whatever. So I park, and I go into the parking garage. There's an escalator. Now, I have to go up like 3 escalators from the parking garage. Well, as I'm walking up, there's an African-American gentleman and his lovely daughter who might be 10. I don't know. She's about 4.5 feet tall, maybe 5 feet tall. So that's how I gauge age, folks. That's how I figure out age. I figure you keep growing until you die. So I don't know why we don't live in the land of the giants, quite frankly. By the time you're 80, you should be like 75 feet tall. That's how it should work. But unfortunately, you top out at a certain point. Or maybe you just shrink. Maybe you go down and shrink at a certain point. I have no how it works. But I'm telling you, I'm with these people. They're ahead of me on the escalator. And she starts to ask her dad, because there's a cart, too. Once you get up one escalator, there's a cart that sells like food and drinks and stuff. So they come up to the top of the escalator, and she goes, Dad, can I have a cookie? And he says, no, you can't. And she goes, but I really want a cookie. And he says, no, you can't. And then we're getting back onto another escalator, which means she's going to leave behind that food cart. So she gets on it, and she looks back wistfully, and she's like, I really wanted a cookie, Dad. He goes, look, I'm telling you, you can't have one. She turns around, she goes, Dad, I really wanted a cookie. Wham! He just smacks her on the ass, like really hard with his hand. And the thing is, I'm behind them. Okay, I'm behind them in the escalator. Now I got to ride up 2 more escalators with this violence occurring in front of me. And he smacks her on the ass. And then this is the thing that really kind of threw me, because he tagged her. All right, I'm not going to lie to you. He hit her good on the ass. She didn't cry. She didn't flinch. She took it like someone, A, who's used to taking it, and B, who's sick of taking it. Because she then looks at him and she goes, why? Why did you smack me? And he goes, because you're not listening to me. She goes, I listened to you. He goes, you're not listening to me. I told you you can't have a cookie. And this is going up I'm behind them. We're going up escalators. Then we have to get on another escalator. And this discussion continues in front of me. And she goes, no, I did listen to you. And he goes, you didn't. I told you couldn't have a cookie. She goes, all I said was I wanted a cookie. He goes, you kept saying you wanted a cookie. And she goes, and you smack me? I mean, if anything, he needs to realize that this kid's going to grow up to be a lawyer. I mean, this is brilliant. And she goes, and you smack me? And she kind of looked back at me like, can you believe that? Like with this weird face. And I just shook my head like, I can't believe it. But I'm not getting involved because, again, we know this guy's thrown to violence. I'm not going to throw down with him in front of his goddamn daughter. But it was brutal. Like he smacked her hard on the ass, man. And he meant it. It wasn't like a ha-ha, we're having fun. She asked for a cookie like 4 times and wham, he just smacks her hard on the ass. And like I said, she didn't cry or flinch or nothing. Just, why'd you smack me? Oh, brutal. So If I have kids, that's not happening, okay? And it's funny, I know, because part of me thought about getting involved, as always, because I get that weird vibe. Whenever I see any confrontation or any weirdness happening, I always think that I should jump in. And you know what? If he had continued to hit her, or if she had cried, or if it would have been weird, maybe I would have. But she looked like she had the situation pretty much in hand. Like, all I was going to do at that point was fuck it up, because she would pretty much handle it as perfectly as she possibly could. There was no other way to handle it, unless she hit him back or floored the motherfucker, like punched him right in his goddamn plaid short balls. Why not? Yeah, take him out. But he was dressed, that's what I'm saying, they're on an outing. It's like a dad and a daughter. And then part of me is like, then I start making a backstory. Are they on the run from the law, and that's, why she's so tough? Or are they going to meet their family, and this is the only time he gets to smack her around when mom's not around? I don't know. I couldn't figure it out. But he was just annoyed with her. Like, Mex is a great dad, and my buddy Jeff is a great dad, and I've seen them with their kids, and they'll tell them they can't do something, and then they will explain to them why they can't. And then they'll get that quiet, when your dad throws on that fucking quiet voice, and he's like, listen, here's what I told you, and the reason I told you that is because you're not, that then you realize, all right, well, maybe it's time to calm down. You don't just fucking fire away with a right hand at a kid on a goddamn escalator in public, right? Use your quiet voice. All he had to do was take her aside, like literally, like stop going up escalators. First of all, stop making the progress. Go into a hallway, away from prying eyes, and then you hit her. That's what you do. You take her off to the side where nobody can see you, and then you fucking just tattoo the shit out of her right there in a goddamn foyer. No, you take her aside. Just go, look, I said you can't have a cookie because you can't have a cookie we're going to eat, or we ate, or explain why. You don't just go, when I was a kid, it drove me fucking nuts because I said so. We understood that was the bottom line, though, and my mom would say that because I said so. Done. That's it. There's no argument. We were scared shitless of my mom. You know what I mean? My mom ruled with a goddamn iron hand. Did she beat my ass in a place? No, she never hit us in public. Yeah. Take us into a hallway away from prying eyes. She'd always take us into another room and take a pillow and put it over our head and then just punch the shit out of us so it didn't leave bruises. My mom knew how to fucking tag your ass. My mom, oh man, she would just fucking, when you get blasted. And again, we all, it's funny, my brother used to do a bit about how, because this is true, there was 5 boys and my mom in a Pinto. We would drive around in a Pinto. So if you acted up in the back seat, everybody was getting hit because my mom just started swinging and everybody's getting tagged. And it wasn't even a joke. Like, he would do it in his act and people were like, ah, and I'd be off to the side going, I wish you guys knew that was fucking true. Because that's how my mom would fucking handle it. She'd whip around and like fucking Three Stooges, the lot of us. Oh, folks. That's what you need. You need more tough parenting in this country. That's what I say that you need. See, because if you have tough parenting, then you don't have 17-year-old girls showing their vaginas and making everybody freak out about it. This country came to a standstill because Perez Hilton twittered a picture of Miley Cyrus's vagina, and I know you were upset. You were like really mad at Perez Hilton. And Noonan too did a thing on his radio show, and he's like, he's the biggest scumbag in the world. You can't do that. Come on. I mean, look, all right. I understand she's 17, but can we all agree that we were going to see that vagina anyway at some point? Eventually, we were all going to get a peek at that thing, and it wasn't. It was. I'm surprised it didn't wink back. Like literally, I'm surprised in that photo it wasn't like wink, haha, you finally caught me, because it was just. And granted, I saw the picture. It's not even like a clear-on vagina shot. It's like a magic eye photo. You got to kind of focus through it, and then a vagina comes into view in the forefront. I'm serious, because it's like her getting out of a car, and she's kind of split-legged, and she might be wearing underwear, but you're not sure. And then Perez Hilton is like, she was wearing underwear, but then she wasn't. But then I'm not ashamed of it. Like, he changed his story like 9 times. But then, right when everybody's kind of busting his ball, look, we all hate Perez Hilton, right? That guy's a fucking horrible guy. But he's crazy rich, and I don't know how he's made a website where he draws cum drops on people's faces into a multi-million-dollar empire. I don't know how. It's straight out of Idiocracy, but he did somehow. He's got so much money, he keeps himself in fucking, horrible suits and crazy haircuts for the rest of his goddamn life. It's terrible. I don't understand it. But then he twitters this photo, and everybody comes down hard on him. They're like, because we all hate him, all right? Look, we all hate him. But again, I gotta say, she doesn't make it easy for us to defend her when 2 days later she's back on stage and you almost see her vagina again. Like literally just this thin strip of fat. It looks like it's essentially her vagina with a Band-Aid over it. That's all it is. I'm sorry. We were all going to see that vagina eventually. I don't think that there's anything wrong with us seeing it because she wants us to see it. Half the time she's spread legs. Every time I see the girl, she's getting out of a car, dancing on stage. There are camel toe pictures of her where they look like they were done by an anatomy textbook. I mean, like you can see the outline. You could teach children about vaginas by showing them the Miley Cyrus camel toe and going, okay, well here's the clitoral hood and here's this and that. I mean, seriously, you could do that. I don't know. I can't get worked up about it. If her dad, who's, maybe he hasn't seen it because he's trapped behind a wall of money, like maybe he has no idea. I said that in my email last week. I said, I saw the vagina, and it looks like every vagina I've ever seen except richer. You know what I mean? Just all it has is more money. And I'm less worried about her 17-year-old vagina than I am her 47-year-old speaking voice. Jesus Christ. I mean, I said it sounds like somebody punched Michael Wincott in the throat. Just... Mr. Morrison, would you like to make a record? That's what she sounds like. She sounds like that guy. I just, I can't get worked up about a woman who's basically, her entire career is daring you to look at her vagina. Like she's trying to, that's what she's selling. It's not like, see, it would be different. Like if they snuck up on, Dakota Fanning and they took a picture of her vagina, then it would be disappointing. Seriously, because then that would be horrible and then you could be upset and angry. But Miley Cyrus' whole career is vagina-centric. That's her whole deal. To the point where I can't believe she hasn't learned how to sing out of it yet. But if they snuck up on Abigail Breslin and took a fucking Veed shot and everybody like, oh no, I don't want to see Little Miss Sunshine's Miss Sunshine. I don't want to see that. I can't be on board with that. But Miley Cyrus, forget about it. She might as well just, have... Nothing. I was just going to say she should wear pants with a rifle scope over it. Just like crosshairs, literally, because that's what her whole career is based on, is everybody trying to get her vagina in the crosshairs. She should wear a dress that or panties that just have crosshairs right on the crotch, because that's what we're all looking at. I don't even know what she looks like, quite frankly. Although after this week, I could pick her vagina out of a lineup, like I said about Pam Anderson. Forget about that. That's not even funny. I can't go into that again. That's from year 2, by year 2. All right. I just a lot of vagina this week. Did you see the anti-rape condom that came out? Did you see that?
Ridiculous.
There's an anti-rape condom that came out, and I'm reading the story about it. And what it is, it's a condom. It's a female condom, and women will put it inside of themselves, in their vaginas. That's where it's supposed to work, I guess. I don't know where else you would put it in your ear. Yeah, it's not gonna work. And it has like little hooks on it, so like if a guy rapes you, it catches on to his junk, and then when he pulls it out, he can't take it off. It has to be removed by doctors. It doesn't hurt, but supposedly it velcros onto your cock, I guess. And but reading the story, what made me laugh is the woman sold her house to like develop this project. And I looked to Karen and I go, that is a woman who is really afraid of getting raped. I mean, I don't know how frightened you have to be of rape that you sell your house to invent a product against it. How about if you just stay in your house? I mean, odds are pretty good you're not going to get raped if you're in your house. I mean, where is she even from? Like South Africa or something? Is there rape on every street corner there? Is it? Maybe I buy it. I would buy it if I was going to jail.
Put it in your
You just jam it up my ass. Yeah, why not? And then it's like, ha, take that, lefty. As you try to engage in some sort of raping activity. Although, but let's be honest, once the guy's inside you, rape is commenced. I don't know if that, either for women or man. So what good does it do if you set a mousetrap up in there? I just think you've already been raped.
They're identified. That was her thing. I read it.
You're identifying them
with... Yeah, you're identifying, because they have to go to the hospital now. And so when they go in with one of those, it's kind of hard when they go, how did this happen?
But you know what, though?
I was masturbating with a condom.
Yeah, with this condom in particular, the one with the fish hooks in it, and because I thought it would be a fine feeling sensation. But I don't understand the thing that I told Karen. I go, this leads it. I mean, if a woman has a problem with the guy, because believe me, there's some crazy chicks out there. All right, so dude, if you like break up and have a bad breakup with a chick, and then she invites you over for makeup sex, and then boom, all of a sudden she has you fuck her, and the monkey's paw grabs your cock. That's a drag. And then she's going to go, ha, he raped me. And you're like, no, I didn't. I just came over for makeup sex. But it doesn't matter because you still got fucking fish hook condom on your goddamn cock. That's awful.
It's ridiculous. But think about this, though. The woman who is anticipating she may be raped has to wear it 24/7 inside her.
But that's what I'm saying. Why would you invent...
That is the ridiculous part.
You invent this anti-rape device and you have to leave the house with it? Like, you're like, all right, shoes, check, purse, check. And then you got to jam a fucking fish hook condom up inside of yourself? Oh. Because I thought the female condom itself is a stupid idea. That one that they came up where it's like it would be I don't understand. It's
It's retarded.
why does your vagina have to become a Gallagher concert? Seriously, I just trust this guy to pull out. Trust him. You don't need to line the whole thing with plastic wrap. For God's sake. I mean, I have an understanding with your man. Look, I've been out of the game a long time, all right? I'm a one vagina guy. But I can't understand. Is it really that much of a problem out there with getting guys to wear condoms or getting them to pull out or swallowing or whatever we used to do in the old days? That you have to fucking get Empire carpets to do the inside of your vagina to prevent yourself from getting pregnant? Jesus God. Just have an agreement before the guy goes inside of you. You have a safe word or a rhythm section. You do something for him to pull out, and and take it in the neck. Go ahead. That's fine. Take it right in the neck. But other than that, I can't see why you need to have to wallpaper your vagina. It just makes no sense. Really? You got to feng shui your entire vagina to make sure you don't get fucking pregnant? Jesus Christ. I don't know what's going on out there. I'm glad. I'm glad I'm out of the game. I'm out of the vagina game. I have one vagina to worry about, and it's doing fine. So that's all I need to worry about. It doesn't need any sort of adornment. It doesn't need any sort of a painting or that's fine. Everything's squared away with that vagina. It's like people freaked out about the Miley thing, and I just don't get it. Is it because she's a child star? Like, is that why? I mean, but no, dude, you can. It happens to everybody. Every celebrity eventually you're going to see their vagina. Just can we all accept that? I mean, it's going to happen. I mean, go and especially child stars. Fucking Google Dana Plato. You'll find her with a cock in her mouth, for Christ's sake. Literally, you'll find her with a cock in her mouth and with a gun in her mouth. The end. I mean, that's how it worked out for Dana Plato. Why am I taking out Dana Plato for no reason? That's mean. And it's so funny. I made Karen look at the pictures of Miley. I'm like, hey, you got to check these out. It's Miley's all. It's so funny because there's that picture where she's wearing the white, corset or whatever the fuck it is, and then it's the picture that I saw. They also then had a close up of it. So I'm like, so now I got to call Robert Stack and Unsolved Mysteries her vagina. I mean. It's a vagina. We've seen them, but she's got razor stubble. That's the thing is she's all shaved, and people are upset about that. It's like, dude, of course she shaved. That's what you're supposed to do. Plus, look at the costume she's wearing. She has to shave, or we would have seen. It would look like she had Elf trapped in her pants. She has to fucking get it shaved up. But I mean, she should wax it, quite frankly, because on this close up, you saw that like, I can't even understand. All right, look. Take this image with you. Miley Cyrus shaving her vagina. Think about that. Now go this route. Think of Miley Cyrus having her vagina shaved for her by someone on her team. That has to be it, right? Because she doesn't do it herself. She's a star. It's beneath her. She has to get... But if you're going to do that, wouldn't you have it waxed? Wouldn't you have people wax it for you? I don't get it. I don't understand this. I shave myself. I don't need to call in any... there's no backup plan. There's no team involved. I showed Karen the pictures. I'm like, hey, look, you got to see Miley. She's I don't care. I go, but you have to see it just to say you saw it, because that's the thing. It's just news, so you can say that you saw it. It's like that feed from the oil spill. You got to say, hey, look, I saw it. It's kind of that's what I want you to do. I want you to think that Miley Cyrus's vagina, the close up of it, is just like the oil spill thing that is running 24 hours a day on CNN. All right. But Karen gets mad when she's like, I don't need to look at it. She's mad at me anyway. She gets mad. I told her this story. She had a friend. All right, she knew a girl from work that she wound up hanging out with, and this chick was insane. She was just fucking crazy. I forget, what was her name, Nicole, or I forget her name. But Karen wound up hanging out with her, and then she told me one day, Karen did, that she went to pick her up to go out, and Karen went upstairs, and the girl walked out completely naked. And she's talking to Karen. She's like putting her makeup on, but she's completely naked. And Karen's a little like, all right, this is kind of strange or whatever. And Karen said there was a weird vibe in the air, like anything could happen, that kind of. But Karen's just like, but not from my end. But she was in no hurry to get dressed, and she was very comfortable being naked around Karen. And I was like, all right, well, okay. So I don't need to hear any more of that story because I already made up the end. I mean, you know what I mean? So the other day, I was in the shower talking to her, and she said something came, because this girl had also written a story that was really awful, because this girl wanted to be a writer, and she had written a story that was horrendously bad, so bad that I kept it. like and it would make me laugh every time I would read it because it was so bad. So I would always quote from it to Karen. I'd be like, and she'd just be like, "Oh, can't you just leave her alone?" And I go, "No, I can't," because she was one of those people who kept talking about how she had connections and was going to be a famous writer. Like it wasn't like nobody wants to be good. All right, nobody wants to be a good writer. Everybody wants to be famous at it. Everybody's like, "Oh yeah, I've got these connections at HBO. I got to make a phone call. I do that." Everybody's got that in this town. Nobody's good at anything. So that's what she was. She was someone who wanted. She claimed that she was going to get writing jobs. Like she thought this is how dumb she was. And again, I don't get. You want to make your bragging and you want to talk about you're going to get a job here. I don't give a fuck. What I hate is that you think I'm stupid enough to believe it. That's the thing I can't fucking take is when people think that I'm dumb enough to swallow their line of bullshit. So she was saying that she was going to write for HBO. Like she wasn't attached to any show. She had friends that worked in the offices at HBO who were going to get her a writing job there on some show, any show. They were just going to make sure they plugged her in as a writer. But that's the thing, and I'd just be like, I'd sitting there, I'm ready to stab her with a fork. I'm like, stop with this nonsense. I'm not believing it. No one's believing it. But Karen, because she's a kind and gentle soul, will just be like, that's great. Like she's trying to be nice to her and encourage her. I'm like, oh, don't even fucking act like you believe this because then you look like a sap. But she doesn't care about looking like a sap. She wants to be all things to all people and nice to everybody. So whatever. I kept this story because it's fucking horrendously bad. So I'll always quote from it. I'll make stupid jokes about it. And we're talking about 7 years ago. I mean, like I still to this day I'll say a quote. So the other day Karen said a quote from it, and I was like, oh, I said, I just recently stopped jerking off to her, and Karen's like, what? And I said, well, that was like one of the scenarios. Like you and her was always one of the scenarios. And she goes, what do you mean? And I said, well. I said, you have scenarios for jerking off. I said, and one of them was always when you were at her house and she came out naked, and you said that there was like a vibe there, and so I've made it. Believe me, there's a whole story, and it goes the way you would think it would. And she got really mad at me, and she's like, what do you mean you jerked off to her? And I go, well, not to her. I go, you're there. I go, but you just. Luckily you're in, if you weren't there, it wouldn't even make any sense because, who cares about her being naked, putting on makeup? That doesn't mean anything. I go, but the very fact that you're in the room and then she's putting on makeup and then, hey, here we go. And she's like, and you jerked off to that? I go, yeah. Why wouldn't I? And she was so mad. She like stormed out of the bathroom and because I'm still in the shower. And I said, I got out of the shower and I go, are you really angry? She goes, well, I don't need to hear that kind of thing. And I go, what do you mean you don't need to hear that kind of thing? I go, I'm not telling you any secrets or anything. She goes, yeah, you are. I didn't know that. So that makes it a secret. I said, no, I don't. I go, I don't understand. I go, I told you I don't anymore. It's been replaced by other scenarios. And she goes, I don't want to even hear those scenarios. I go, well, you know what they are. It's this. And then she goes, stop. But what's so weird is all right, this will sound horrible. I'll go to bed in the morning, and again, our schedules conflict, so getting together to do anything is a little rough. So I'll try to convince her to do, fancy hand job or whatever in the morning, or, I said, look, do it on the run, you'll get out of here. But now she's into because I'll try to hit on her, she's like, no, I got to go. And then she'll be like, you do it and I'll watch. Like that. And I'm like, that doesn't help anybody. And she goes, well, no, it'll be great for me. Like I can take that image to work and I'm like, no, because then that's, again, I can do that when you leave. Forget it. Because if you're going to be sitting here watching me, that's just odd that you would want to watch me jerk off before you went to work in the morning. But let's be honest. Look, I recognize that my wife does not want to watch me jerk off before she goes to work in the morning. That's just her way of doing a plea bargain and make me think that there's still sexual stuff going on between us, and she can go ahead and curl her hair and drink her coffee without lube-covered hands. All right, I get that. But what I don't understand is why that's okay that she wants to watch me do that. But when I tell her that I got scenarios for jerking off, well, what does she think? Does she think that I just? What if am I like crazy meta? Like I love myself that much that I would just lay there and think about jerking off? Like that's my thing. You know what I do when I jerk off? I think of myself jerking off. Oh my God, is that the greatest? I set up a makeup mirror and I just watch myself go to work. That's exactly how it is. In fact, I don't even derive any real pleasure from jerking off. I'm just trying to. It's more of a carnival game. So what I'll do is, it's like skee ball. It's like skee ball, and what I'll do is I'll set up paper cups with certain values, and I'll try to see which one I can shoot into. So I'm like, oh look, 50. I got 50 points jerking off today. That's great. See, now that I watch. If somebody set up like a skee ball thing and wound up jerking off into it and tried to get points, that's a game. See, that's not like something freaky and weird. Even I watch a guy jerk off if he's doing that, if he's shooting for points. If you're jerking off for points, then I'm on board. But if it's just like a straight up jerk off, I can't imagine watching it. But I'm sorry, if someone sets up a target or a bullseye or some sort of skee ball course, then I am absolutely both eyes fixated on watching that guy jerk off.
You're listening to The 40-Year-Old Boy, and later, The Jerk-Off Journals. Two guys who've got the situation well in hand.
I took a lot of heat for last week's show.
Why? How come?
That's the story I told about, how I jerked off using a soccer bopper.
Oh, you prefaced it. You said you'd probably get some heat over it.
I was right.
Yeah.
What do you got?
Dude, you should try this.
What?
Okay. Get a banana.
Banana?
Yeah. Hold on.
Right.
Follow me. Peel it, put the skin in the microwave, heat it up.
Okay.
Not a lot. And then put it in a baggie and put a little lotion inside it and put it underneath the couch cushion and then you bang it.
When did you do that?
Yesterday.
Dude, where? What couch?
You're sitting on it.
Oh, no. Dude, I play Xbox in this couch.
Yeah, I know, and I had to wait up all night for you to go to bed so I could try this, for Christ's sake, but it's amazing. Try it, and you won't be pissed.
What do you do with the banana?
You eat it.
Before or after?
During.
It's Palm Sunday over and over. The Jerk-Off Journals on the Mike Schmidt Podcasting Network.
Was that the last banana?
I have done nothing these past 2 weeks. Nothing. I can't. There's nothing to draw upon. I'll have to bring something out of my rich past to entertain you with. I don't know, man. We're sitting here fucking staring at ceilings. It's now 8:40. I got here at 5. We're 25 minutes in, and it's been 3.5 fucking hours. And again, every week I do this. And you got to be bored out of your fucking skull hearing me say it. And I tell Lily all the time, I go, they don't want to hear me fucking say that. She's like, no, just go ahead and say it. So blame her. All right. No, she never says that. That would be weird. All right. But because you know what I've done the past week or so? I've watched soccer. That's what I've done with my life. I am consumed by the World Cup, ladies and gentlemen. Even in America won today. What are you booing for? Who boos that? Who boos soccer? Who boos the World Cup? What do you mean, who cares? You know who cares? The fucking world. That's who cares. God damn it. The world and Mike Schmidt. And, and people in America care because America's winning. Like, if America wasn't winning, everybody would be like, big deal, nobody cares. But because America won today, folks, and they advanced into the round of 16 and won their group, so now they get to play Ghana. And I got to be honest, I hope Ghana wins 10-0. Look, I enjoy America, folks. I love living here. Really, it's the best country in the world. Can we all agree on that? Certainly those of us who live here can agree on that. And those of us who want to sneak in or swim over a river and try to get here can agree on that. And people overseas who are like, God, I wish I had the freedom to go out and get a hamburger or two in the morning. Well, guess what? Come here. We have that freedom, folks. So it's a great country. But as far as soccer goes, I hope we get the shit kicked out of us. I mean, I'm sorry. I can't. This is why I love the World Cup. The World Cup to me, because fuck America, and here's why. Because the World Cup is on here, and people are watching it, and there's these horns that are being blown. If you've watched any soccer, or even if you hadn't, there's these horns being blown called vuvuzelas, all right? When I've watched the first game, yes, you're going to get my phone? All right, she's getting my phone set up because I actually went and got the Vuvuzela application put on my phone, on my iPhone, because when I started watching, I watched the first soccer game, and I heard it's this drone. It sounds like, here it is. That's the Vuvuzela. All right, so it sounds like, but imagine that for 90 minutes, like, because it does not stop. All these people, my favorite part is they're like partying in the stands and blowing those horns. Wouldn't you get tired? I don't understand how it continues the entire game. Who's blowing that? What kind of a maniac is blowing the horn? There you go. I don't know if they can even hear it, but who blows the horn the entire game? That's the craziest thing. But then even worse, the games play, and it's this weird drone. It sounds like a tornado filled with bees. That's what it sounds like. Is approaching the stadium in the distance, and it won't get there. Look, a tornado filled with bees is certainly more dangerous than a tornado filled with cocks and bears. Because a tornado filled with bees, who knows what's going to happen? But when you watch the game, you just hear it. It's this simmering noise that's constantly going, and I love it. Okay, I'm not going to lie to you. I thought it was great. I thought it was charming. I thought it was part of the local, the folklore. And to me, that's what a soccer game should be. It should be like a crazy nonstop party with stupid plastic horns in the background. The fuck? Nothing's going on the field. It's just a bunch of guys goal kicking back and forth, especially if you watch the shitty countries go at it. And that's right, Vuvuzela. No, they can't hear it. Doesn't matter. But I love it. I cannot stop watching the World Cup because I can't root for America. Look, I root for us in wars. All right, I'll tell you that. I want our country to win all of the wars that we enter. Whether we start them or we don't start them, if we're sucked in or we picked a fight, who the fuck cares? I want us to win a war because that helps my quality of life. But soccer, this is all the other rest of the nations have. This is all the rest of the world has is soccer. Can we let them have that, please? Can we let them have soccer, the rest of the world? Do we have to be good at that too? God damn it, back off. It's bad enough because we're shitty, man. When the Olympics, we used to send college kids to play basketball in the Olympics, and then we lost. And then all of a sudden we petitioned for a rule to get the pros put in, and they said, oh yeah, that's a good idea. And then we sent Michael Jordan and Charles Barkley to fucking destroy these countries in the Olympics. So mean and rude. Why are you doing that? And again, I hate the Olympics anyway, because the Olympics are all about individual medals. I like the team games, like I like hockey and stuff like that. And I got to admit, the hockey's with the pros, that was fun. You know why? Because we don't have the best pros in hockey. So it was fun to watch Russia and fun to watch Canada. Yeah, that's right, Vuvuzela. So I'm excited about that. And that's why I'm in soccer. I like rooting for the shitty countries. And I don't even know if they're shitty countries, but like, I've never been there, but who cares? If all they have is soccer, then you should root for them. That's why I hope Ghana destroys us. Come on, how great would it be if Ghana beat us and not just like fucking dispatched us, not even like edged us? God, I love soccer. I love World Cup soccer. Like I can't watch the Seattle Sounders against the Chicago Fire because nobody fucking cares. There's no stakes in that. There's stakes in the World Cup because it's literally 12 guys against the world for their countries. How fascinating is that? That's why I'm saying. That's why I'm rooting for Chile. That's my team. I'm rooting for Chile to win because how great would it be for them if they won? If those guys win, their lives are set. They're heroes. It's like in Korea. All right, like in North Korea just got fucking pounded, dude. North Korea. Now they have to go back to fucking North Korea. That sucks. Wouldn't you rather go back as a champion or having at least won one game? That's why I want Chile to win. I want Chile to go back to their country and it's because literally it's like 12 dirt farmers from fucking Chile who are kicking around fucking animal skulls into a makeshift goal, and then all of a sudden they become a team and they go out and they hit the field and they wind up beating some team from Brazil. Awesome! That's a great story. God damn it! And I love the fact that soccer is literally soccer is a game that was invented. It may have been the first thing ever invented before fire, even before like breathing in rhythmic breathing. People learned how to kick a ball around. That's all they did. Like cavemen were out there kicking a skull around or stones, and then they kicked it through a designated area, and they're like, "Goal!" That was the first caveman word. He went, "Goal!" because they invented soccer and they were fucking playing it. God damn it! I love the World Cup. Again, I don't love soccer. Don't confuse it. Although I love playing soccer. When I was a kid, I was awesome at soccer. I know that. Believe me, you don't believe me, but believe me, you should believe me. When I was a kid in fucking elementary school, I actually got to go as part of the president's board of physical fitness. I got to go to Soldier Field and play soccer on Soldier Field in Chicago with Kyle Rote Jr., who's one of the greatest all-time athletes. Because I was really good at soccer in school, and they put my name up and they picked me. So I got a certificate. And believe me, things have gone completely to hell since then. The president now would not include me on his panel on physical fitness. I certainly wouldn't include me on his panel on mental fitness. I can tell you that. My fascination with soccer continues with the World Cup. Again, I loved soccer as a kid, but I don't like non-stake soccer. I like soccer with stakes. And I also love the fact that soccer has not changed at all when I watch the World Cup. If you watch the World Cup, and first of all of these assholes are faking like they're injured. That has got to stop. All right, look. I understand you're a dirt farmer from Chile, but when somebody bumps into you, don't fall down like he stabbed you with a shiv in the shower in the goddamn prison yard. Okay? Is there a shower in the prison yard? There's a shower in the prison, but not in the yard. Again, I haven't been to prison. If I did, there you go. Vuvuzela. I love the World Cup. But that's, you know what, that horn. So the first game I watched, you hear that drone. It's constantly in the background. These maniacs are just constantly blowing the horns, which is fantastic. But then after the game, people are complaining like on Twitter. They're like, oh, what's that horrible noise? And then the networks are like, oh, we got to find a way to filter out that noise. No, you don't. No, that's part of the charm of having these games in South Africa. When you have it there, local custom and local colloquialisms need to come to the forefront. I mean, fuck. You're not worried about filtering out all the shitty music you play at sports events here in the fucking United States. Are you kidding me? I'd rather hear a million poor people blow those horns for an hour and 30 minutes than have to listen to the Romantics ever again in my entire fucking life. Seriously, do you think anybody in the world wants to hear "That's What I Like About You" ever again? No, they don't. Even the romantics hear it and go, holy fuck, yes, granted, that's $26 for us, but Jesus, stop playing it. I would much rather hear a bunch of people, a fucking posse, playing these ridiculous horns. Because that, again, it gets right back to the roots. Because, that's what happened. When the cavemen were kicking around animal skulls, somebody came out with a conch shell and blew it, and there you go. First vuvuzela. First soccer game, first vuvuzela. The cavemen were busy, goddammit. Before they invented fire in the wheel, they went ahead and invented soccer in the vuvuzela in my world for some reason. As Jesus sauntered by in a dinosaur. Man, I love it. I love the fucking World Cup. I love the fact that the game, like I said, it hasn't advanced from that time. Because if you watch the World Cup now, first of all, these guys all fake like they're injured. They fall down, they fucking pass out. And it goes the other way. All right, here. You watch these guys fall down after someone bumps into them or breathes the wrong way or somebody sneezes, a guy falls down like his fucking leg is broken. That's horrible. And then the referee sometimes will yell at them or sometimes they'll make them lay there and the guys run out. But when they're injured for real, it's even better. I saw a guy the other day from Uruguay. Literally, folks, I've watched every World Cup game. I have watched every single game, except for the last 2 days when they've started running them consecutively, like on at the same time. I can't watch 2 games at the same time, folks. I'm not a miracle worker. However, I can tape one and then, watch it. I could tape them both in each bedroom, but you know why you can't do that? Because while you're watching one game, they give you score updates about the other game, and it doesn't make any sense to go ahead and do that. So I can't do that. All right, get off my fucking back. But I will watch. I've watched every single game up until now, and I saw a guy from Uruguay get elbowed in the eye. Other guys fall down and pass out like they're crazy. This guy gets elbowed and he keeps playing, but he's got a huge cut on his head. Well, the thing is, in soccer, they don't stop time. Time just continues. So they make him leave the field because he's got to get stitched up because he's got blood. Well, the thing is, they can't stitch him up because they're just trying to get him back onto the field and patch him up. So he comes off the field and they jam all this gauze into his head and then they wrap a blue wrap around his head and try to send him back on the field to play, looking like Gunga Din. It's like, dude, literally all he needed was 2 guys, and one of them should have a fife, a drum, and a flag, and then they could fucking march out in 1776 the fucking game. But no, the ref stops him and goes, nah, too much blood, and makes him go back. And then they Gunga Dinned him some more, and he went out and played with his head all wrapped up like that. Or when they really get injured, a guy will get kneed or in the knee or a Charlie horse. He falls down, and the trainers, again, I don't know why this makes sense to them. They go running out there with a can of that Friezo spray. When I was a kid, if you got hit with a pitch in baseball, they would just spray this freeze spray on your arm, which basically they should just call that spray, fuck you, this'll hurt later. Because it doesn't fix you in any way. All it does is it numbs the area so you can continue, and then eventually you're going to go, oh, fuck, my leg fell off. Jesus Christ. But it doesn't matter because they get out that can and they wail on you with that fucking Friezo spray, and you're supposed to just continue whatever you're doing. Well, fine. But later on, you're going to pay for it when your fucking knee falls off. But where was I going with that? So, because what happens is they'll run out there with the fucking can of spray and they'll wail on the dudes. But even better, again, folks, look, there's a ton of money in the World Cup. All these soccer teams, all these soccer players, there's all this advertising, there's ads all over the place. And yet, when a guy gets hurt and he's like laying on the ground hurt, 4 dudes will run out with an orange stretcher. That's it. They run out with a stretcher. This is like this is what the cavemen did when a guy got hurt. They made a fake stretcher out of reeds, and they ran out and picked up grog and threw him on there, and they ran him off the goddamn field. They have not advanced since then. Literally, you watch a soccer game and a guy gets hurt, 4 dudes run out there with a stretcher. It looks like something out of Benny Hill, quite frankly. 4 guys in white lab coats with a stretcher, and they literally throw the guy on this. They get a giant spatula, and they put him on the stretcher, and they run off. It's like, dude, can't we... In America, we have the bullpen car, and we've had it forever. We had it in the 70s. We don't use it anymore. But why don't we just send them all of our old bullpen cars so they can drive out on the field and drive the guy off? Because if he's hurt, do you think the trauma of 4 dudes having him on a ramshackle stretcher and running him off the field is going to help him in any way? No, that's not going to heal the motherfucker. God damn it. Advance your game, I say. But then again, don't, because I love it quaint. I love quaint soccer. I love the fucking vuvuzelas. I can't stop. And I love Chile. God damn it. Go Chile. Go La Roja. That's who they are. The red one. That's what I figured out. God damn it. I love soccer. And you know what else is even great about soccer? Oh, dude. Hot chicks love soccer. All over the world. Not in America. In America, it's all like, fucking hounds who like soccer. But in other countries, it's crazy hot chicks with like thongs and like body paint. Oh, dude. And they'll be showing the game and it's like, and I love the announcers too, because the announcers are like English and they'll say stuff like, oh, that was a brass challenge. Ha ha! A brass challenge! Because a guy like, come in spikes high and cut a fucking huge gouge in somebody's thigh, but they don't freak out about it. There's no hyperbole that, oh, it's a brass challenge. And this, I swear to God, this exchange happened today in America, in the American game. Josie Altidore is running down the field, he's dribbling, and a guy tackles him really like abruptly, and the announcer went, "Whoa, that's a brass challenge." And the color guy goes, "Yeah, it's actually very cynical. A cynical challenge." Ha ha, a cynical challenge. I want to love a sport that has a cynical challenge. Absolutely, goddammit. Oh, why doesn't baseball have enough cynical challenges? That's right. That signifies the end of the cynical challenge joke. And then it signifies it's time for to start fake laughing, quite frankly. This whole thing is awful. This whole thing's a clunker because I'm obsessed with soccer and I can't get past it. I've done nothing. I've been locked in my house watching soccer. This is where the not having money thing is going to really put a crimp in this goddamn show because I don't get to go doing it. I don't even get to go to the movies and have women start fights with me at concession stands. I got nothing. I had, you know, it's funny. This whole show is a cynical challenge. Now that I think about it, really, this podcast is a cynical challenge. All right. So, bottom line, I love soccer. I'm rooting for Chile because I don't want America to win because we're good at everything. Why shouldn't we let these other countries be good at soccer? It's like when I watch. Oh wait, that doesn't make any sense. See, here's the thing. Here's where it doesn't make sense. Because in basketball, like I said, I root for like the other countries because it's fun to have us lose to the other countries because it's an upset and those countries get. Well, then that's kind of what we are in soccer. Like, why shouldn't I root for the U.S. to beat Brazil? Because we're the underdog, essentially, even though we're not really. The United States is never really the underdog. We are technically, but we have so many resources, we could build like soccer-playing robots and kick everybody's asses. You know what I mean? That should just be our World Cup team. We should enter soccer-playing robots. And they would just go out and stormtroop the field and just become self-aware and then score 1,000,000 goals. That would be because I figure that's who we are as a country. We could do that if we wanted to. So that's why I want us to lose. Really? Because we have the capability of building soccer-playing robots. That's why I root against us. That doesn't make any sense. You know what else doesn't make any sense? Saying doesn't make any sense 1,000,000 times. I say it all the time in this show. God damn it. This show's a whiff, folks. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm sitting here with like an Arby's in my stomach, like a fist, a big meat fist. Yeah, I'm going to vomit up a big Montana. That's right. I choked down because we broke like in the middle of the show to like stop and eat something. And that's what I got was a big Montana. And I just started eating and chewing it. And then I'm like, and I'm not even thinking about it. You know, that weird thing where you're just kind of hustling and eating fast. And now it is lurking. Oh my God. It is just... It's like, you know, it's like a big meat soccer ball right there in my stomach. It's just like, hey, I wish someone would kick it, would corner kick me. Oh, yeah, you could punch me if you wanted. All right. I should just fucking end this. I mean, what's the point of even trying to do another story? I don't even know where this is going. Where are we at? How long have we been doing this?
41.
41. That seems... You know, because last week was $1.46, and it's like, it was long. Like, I completely chock-a-blocked it full. Yes, by all means, keep hitting the vuvuzela. Oh, that was louder than ever. God damn it, I love that sound. All right. And I'm so mad that they want to filter it. It's like, no, you should hear that.
I'm going to buy you one.
A vuvuzela?
Yeah.
Oh my God, that would be great. I would love a vuvuzela.
They have like 2.5-foot, 3-foot ones down at the garment district that are made of plastic that
Yeah.
you can hear from 3 blocks away. They're hideous.
Good.
They're awful.
They're not hideous at all.
The whole time I'm shopping, I just keep hearing.
Good, yeah. Yeah, every sport is enhanced by the Indian from the Funny Company being in the stands. Absolutely. That's what it sounds like. I actually saw that the other day. Like on one of these weird cable stations I'm flipping, a channel called Ion, which I didn't even know I fucking had.
Yes.
And all of a sudden the Funny Company was on. You know, because it caught my eye, here's why. Because there was they were showing an old, because the Funny Company was what it was like a learning cartoon where they would have it was a group of kids and they were all drawn, but then they would throw it to a live piece and it would be like, hey, let's go to the pudding factory with a bunch of crew cut kids. You know what I mean? Like, 'cause it's the 60s. So they would do that, or they'd show you how to farm and all that stupid nonsense that nobody cares about. So when it came on though, I was watching it because Toy Story 3 is out and they've been running these 80s toys ads for fake toys that are in Toy Story, but they don't tell you it's for Toy Story. Like I had the TV on and I heard like a weird, like a Rainbow Bright type of song, and it was something called Hugging Bear. Super Hugging Bear, and I looked up because it was right out of my childhood. It was that kind of a cartoon, like Hugging Bear, and he's running, and I love you, Hugging Bear, with like a little kid. And I looked up and I go, that's not real. And as I'm watching it, and I never tipped that it was Toy Story, but I figured it out where I went, that's for Toy Story. That's because there's all these new toys in the new Toy Story, and they're advertising them with these fake ads. And I'm like, that is genius. So when the Funny Company was on, they went to the farm, and I was like, oh, is that a fake ad for Toy Story? No, it's really some crew cut kids going to a farm to learn about irrigation, because God knows how fun that is during a cartoon. Oh my God, I gotta tell you, there's nothing more fun than seeing a group of children learning about irrigation. Holy crap, that's a reason to stay home from school. So yeah, I don't. So where was I? This is death. What are you pointing at? Just say it.
You were starting to tell me about the Toy Story thing outside.
Oh, that's not fun. It's horrible. I don't even want to tell you people this. It's. Oh, you're great. Now you should just guest host. I was just, again, I saw, because I had two horrible things happened at the parking garage. I chose to tell one of them, where the guy smacked his daughter. Okay, but then when I got to the top and I went to go get my stamp for my validation after I got away from the domestic violence. I went over there, and where I park is a place called Hollywood and Highland. So it's right by Mann's Chinese Theater, so there's tons of tourists, and there used to be a bunch of people in costumes hanging out there trying to get $1 from you to take a picture of Wolverine, even though it's a guy named Rick. You know what I mean? Like that kind of weirdness. But instead, they've chased all those people away now, so now the tourists come out and don't really have anything to do. They look at Cary Grant's footprints, and then they go home. I mean, it's boring. However, there was a group of youths. There were 3 teenagers in their Rockstar energy drink hats. And so because I actually saw them and I thought maybe they worked for Rockstar Energy Drink because they had matching hats on. So I'm like, all right, these guys all work for somewhere. So I have to go get validation at this booth and then double back to go to Lily's. So I go in and I get the validation. And when I get the validation, these 3 kids, in the middle of all the tourists, they thought it was fun to walk up to people and tell them the end of Toy Story 3. They were walking up and saying, hey, did you know blah, 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 blah. They would say something. And then they would laugh. And people would look at them because people aren't comprehending, because it was the thing is, Toy Story 3 is across the street at the El Capitan. So, there are people who park and are going to cross the street and go to the movie. These guys have taken it upon themselves to set up a ruination blockade and ruin the ending of the film for people who are going over there to watch the theater. And I was late coming in here, and I was already in shock at watching that guy smack his kid around. Or else I would have probably gotten in their face and said something. But what am I going to say? Honestly, they've ruined it. And again, I'm 42, and I'm going to yell at 15-year-olds like, yes, you guys get off of my movie-loving lawn. I mean, there's nothing to fucking say at that point. Just a bunch of asshole kids being assholes. And they decided, they were like, let's go fuck up everybody. Because I told the story on here where I saw a comedian give away the end of The Sixth Sense to a couple who were waiting. We were at an open mic in a restaurant across the street from a movie theater. Did I tell the story on here? Yeah. Okay, yeah. And a guy ruined The Sixth Sense, and I wanted to beat him up. I physically wanted, because what you did, you stole joy. That's what you did. You stole joy from those people. You stole surprise. You stole a moment from them, because the reveal on The Sixth Sense, you're just like, whoa. And that's why and also, I got to tell you, I haven't seen Toy Story yet, so maybe it wasn't the ending, but they seemed pretty confident that it was. And they were yelling it and going up to people and just saying it. And I mean, to families, I mean, what's the point? And again, look, I shouldn't say anything. When I was a kid, I was an asshole. I told you, I stole mail. I mean, I did all sorts of stupid shit as a kid. So I guess I was the king of ruination on my own level. You know what I mean? I didn't have to go up to people individually. I ruined large groups of people's days or afternoons or weeks or months or whatever. But these guys were doing it on a much more personal. I got to respect them, I guess. I got to respect their ingenuity to go up and absolutely ruin things for people face to face. That's great. I choose to do it electronically every week and you choose to go along with it. Somehow you download me ruining everything. I don't know why, but you do, and I appreciate you for it. Although, quite frankly, this week is going to be the sternest test I think we've ever had of the whether or not you'll come back. I love that thing. It's stupid, but I love it, and I love watching the games, and I love the horns. I love it. My favorite thing is when it'll be like I twittered this the other day. It was Paraguay against Slovakia, and all I twittered was Paraguay, Slovakia. It's about time. Because I twittered like 4 things about it because it made me laugh to just because I wanted people who follow me to go, why does he care about Paraguay and Slovakia? I don't. But I thought it was fucking hysterical to be that guy who was like, finally, Paraguay against Slovakia, and to pretend that I cared because I didn't. But I watched it. I watched every fucking second of it because I'm scouting for Chile. I need to. I need to let La Roja know what's happening. I need to tell them that I've seen Paraguay dominate a Slovakia team and that they should watch out for them in the knockout round. Oh, I love the World Cup. We almost got into a fight over the World Cup. I've loved it a long time, folks. I've loved it quite a long time. In 1994, okay, Mex and I and a bunch of our friends, we played on our softball team, the Brown Eyes. So
Oh, really?
that was our softball team name in 1994. And I would play when I didn't have a gig. All right, so I would show up. Well, when Brazil won the World Cup in 1994. I don't even know why. You know why? Because I was fascinated with the phrase Brasil, campeões del mundo. Okay, champions of the world. And so because when they won the World Cup that afternoon, and then we had a game that night to play softball. So we played, and I kept yelling Brasil, campeões del mundo. We kept yelling it. I don't know why. Our whole team, like me and my friend Kenny, we just seized on it because we loved it. The other team decided to tell us like to shut up. Like they wanted to look. All right, I played C League softball. Okay, A League softball is a bunch of guys who used to be pros and are now playing softball. B League softball is guys who are weekend warrior guys, but they're still pretty good and they play. C League softball is, hey, where are we putting the keg? You know what I mean? It's like just the horrible dregs of and we took it serious, and it's funny because like Mex was real good and our buddy Jeff was, guys were good on our team, but I didn't take it seriously because it was C League softball. But these other guys would show up with their fucking batting gloves and their fucking spikes and there's nothing wrong with that if you take it seriously but you still have fun. But these guys were just they were just dicks, and so they wanted to fight us. Like they wanted to fight us because we kept yelling Brasil campeões del mundo. I'm like, so then of course, as you would know anything about me, we just yelled it more often. We yelled it more and more and more. Every time we'd score a goal, Brazil. And we wound up not fighting that day. But, like, literally every game was... Well, because I'm saying every game turned into, like, this weird showdown with people that you went to school with or people you don't really know. But I hate softball. You know what? I love softball, but it is also the fucking worst, man. I got in a fight as long ago as 1990. I got in a fights playing softball. I played on the Little Caesars corporate team here in Los Angeles. And... a guy, it was funny. A guy who worked at Little Caesars with me was a guy named Sean Holland, who used to rap under the name Casanova, and we were friends with, we got to be friends working at Little Caesars, and then all of a sudden, a few years later, I turned on the TV. Sean is in the Clueless television series. He's like Donald Faison's best friend in the Clue. I'm like, oh, what the fuck, Sean, awesome, and then disappeared. Then he did like one other television movie, and then I Google him and I can't find him. I have no idea where he is. But he was a guy that I knew. Like I said, he was a rapper when I knew him, but then he became an actor and became famous. But in 1990, he and I were on the Little Caesars softball team together, fighting with like, brawling with Papa John's. Not really Papa John's, but we were in a league. We were Little Caesars, and we were at all these other teams. And the same thing where they just didn't like us because we were enjoying the game and having fun. And we didn't treat it like it was this life or death fucking nonsense. But these other guys did, and they were so evil. God damn, I hate them. I don't even have a story for this. I'm just going to tell you that I hate softball. That's it, period. I hate softball leagues. I should say that. Although, you know what, though? Softball got back at me. Did I ever tell the story when I was pitching? We used to play, all the comedians started to get together and play on Saturdays, and it was really fun. And then sometimes we play on Sundays. Well, we were going to play a doubleheader on a Sunday once a few years ago. I said this. I told this story. And I was pitching, and they used to hate me because I would spin the ball, like when I would pitch, and I would force them, they would hit ground balls. And people, when people play weekend softball, they want to fucking hammer the ball over the yard and score 15 runs. They don't want to see me working on a 3-hitter. You know what I mean? But I was excited to play because I would fucking spin the ball, and it would there was no called strikes, so people would go up there hacking, and then they just hit all these ground balls. It was brutal. So I was going to play a doubleheader one day. We show up at literally the first inning, And it's going to be a glorious day. It's like 80 degrees outside. It's so beautiful. I'm excited. And this is Fat Mike. Fat Mike had to pitch because he couldn't play anywhere else on the diamond. And also, he was this, I told you about the spinning in the English. Well, I threw a pitch, and a left-handed batter. I don't know if my spinning had a different effect on a lefty, but he hit again a ground ball, but it was a hard one-hopper, and it was a one-hopper into the ground and then right into my mouth. It was just like a 12-inch and a new 12-inch softball off an aluminum bat. And I should tell you that I had a few near-death experiences playing in this league because I had, I was always pitching and I was close to the plate. One guy, one time, was it Mike Brennan? Someone hit with, and again, aluminum bats and 12-inch softball, which is small, rock hard. I was pitching once. I pitched. A guy hit a line drive back at me, right at my face. And but I was fast enough to just literally move. It would almost be imperceptible if you were to see it from off. But I moved to the right, maybe 3 inches, and all it did was it caught my cheek and it went off my ear. It was like you heard it. You heard it hit the bat, and then you heard it hit my head. The ball landed in center field. That's how hard it was hit. It was like bang, bang, and it just kissed off of my cheekbone and my ear into center field. And I was standing there. Everybody comes running. They're like, dude. It was like this weird moment where everybody was frozen because it was like bam, bam. It made the two noises, and the ball kicked into right center field off of my left ear. And people are like, are you okay? And I turn around and they go, whoa. And I had a red streak from my cheekbone all the way up my ear. Like it looked like a burn, like a sunburn from the ball, like sliding off of my face. So maybe this is why I hate softball, because I've almost died a couple of times. Because if I don't move my head 3 inches to the right, that hits me dead center and destroys my nose. My nose explodes, which I found out later as this guy hit this fucking one-hopper. And again, there's nothing funny about this, folks. These are just literally injury time with Mike. But this guy, lefty, hits it, one hopper, brand new 12-inch softball off an aluminum bat, one hopper right into the mouth. And I turned around and I just walked off the field. I told this story. I swear to God I told this story. Because I was supposed to go to the Chicago Comedy Festival a week later, and I did with 16 stitches in my mouth. Because when I got to the sideline, this guy goes, are you all right? And I just spit out blood, like a huge mouthful of blood, and I went, nope. And I had to, and then I told the story because then I had to call Karen and she didn't answer the phone. I swear to God I told the story because I kept calling the house and she wouldn't answer the phone. And so then some guy had to leave the game and drive me home. And I got to the house and I walk up and she's like, hi. And blood is all over my face and shirt. She's like, oh my God. And I go, why aren't you answering the phone? And she's like, what? And so we had to go to the emergency room, and I to this day I still bite my lip all the time because I have scar tissue inside because they had to go all the way down to the gum and stitch up. I had 16 stitches in my lip because it was fucking exploded. My lip exploded. You guys can get me at MikeandMikeSchmidtComedy.com. How fucking terrible would that be? I didn't even have a funny ending. I just talk about my lip exploding. I don't have a funny ending, though. That's it. My life is obsessed with soccer. You know what I mean? I could tell a story. That's the thing but I said to myself, I'm like, nah, don't do that. Why not? Why wouldn't you do that? Oh, God damn it. Folks, seriously, go find a different podcast this week. Or any week, quite frankly. All right. You know what? There's only one way to end the show. You guys can get me at MikeandMikeSchmidtComedy.com. You guys can get me at Facebook.com/the40year-old-boy. You can get me at Twitter.com/the40year-old-boy, or just go to MikeSchmidtComedy.com and go to the What's Happening. No, that's the You Guys Can Get Me At page. Go to that one, and then you'll be able to follow me all over the place. Or email me and tell me what you thought of this week's clunker. And you guys want to follow Lily, you guys can do that. Follow Lily at Twitter.com/LilyVonStupp, or you can follow her at Twitter.com/MNTs to remind you about all of the things that are going on with the Monday Night Teas. And, oh, Christ. I just feel like it's so stupid. All right. And guys, go ahead and write her a personal email and give her a real job so she can stop dealing with my nonsense every goddamn week. Send her a note at lily@burlesque411.com. That's Lily, Lili, at burlesque411.com.
Hey, all you fans of the 40-year-old boy. Mike's got new stuff to sell you. Stuff he hopes you'll enjoy. Just what's for sale? Of course we do not know. Zazzle.com, 40-year-old boy, Zazzle.com, 40-year-old boy, Zazzle.com, 40-year-old boy, Zazzle.com. Is your business you? What kind of stuff's for sale? We already told you we don't know. 'Cause Mike made us record this song way back in February, so we can only speculate just what Mike will try to sell you. Maybe his face on a tambourine, or his own line of gardening equipment. Zazzle.com, 40-year-old boy, Zazzle.com, 40-year-old boy, Zazzle.com, 40-year-old boy, Zazzle.com. Maybe his own line of high chairs. Zazzle.com. His face on your personal massager. Zazzle.com.
Want to remind you folks about the Monday Night Teas every Monday night at the 3 clubs in Santa Monica and Vine in Hollywood. Hey, Lily Von Stupp.
Hey, Michael Schmidt.
Who is there at the Monday Night Teas this week? That's
Well,
Monday.
I know who's not.
Yeah, okay.
I can't remember any of the dancers right now, but I do know we have a fucking amazing host.
I don't know who that host is.
He is a comic.
All right.
He is a movie star.
That's doubtful.
And he has a podcast called, the 40-year-old boy.
Oh, that's right. So I will be hosting June 28th at the, and please, don't let this show influence whether or not you're going to come to the Monday Night Teas, folks, because live it'll be a whole different story. It'll be dynamic. It'll be all this nothing in 3D. I don't know what. And yes, and Lily's juggling her boobs right now. So yeah, I will be there this June 28th, and it's me and then a bunch of other dancers. There's plenty of dancers.
There's a lot
and
of hot chicks. I remember
Good.
that. I booked a lot of really fucking smoking hotties.
Well, that's good. I'm excited about that. And so come out to the Monday Night Teas. Again, it's every Monday night, but I'll tell you this Monday night, June 28th, 10 o'clock at the 3 clubs on Santa Monica and Vine. Come on out and check me out. Yay, hosting. Although I should not be hosting this. I'm doing this because our friend Erica, a listener, is coming out from on vacation and was like, "Hey, could I might meet you at the Monday Night Teas?" And I said, "Well, I'll see about hosting it." So, but because again, I've discussed that. You know, when I went and saw the show 2 weeks ago, I should have talked about this in the last segment, and it was great because she had a pancake juggler. What's his name? Scott Neary. Scott Neary was there, and he hosted, and he's what you should have at that show. Because he's distracting people with his pancake nonsense. Like because nobody's there to listen to jokes or stories. They're all like, hey, let's be entertained, visually until the tits show up. Because that's the show. It's not a real comedy show. So it's like you need variety acts hosting it. So I'm doing it this week, and hopefully it goes well in my swan song. And hopefully Erica didn't fly out to LA for nothing. So please come on out to the 3 clubs at Santa Monica and Vine and check out the show this week. And want to remind you folks that I'll be in San Francisco August 20th and 21st at the Darkroom Theater. Yeah, it's certainly not that big a deal. I'm glad you're excited. That's fantastic. You alone in America are excited for this. And me, I'm excited too. So that's August 20th and 21st at the Darkroom Theater in San Francisco. Come on and check it out. Tickets are on sale now. There'll be a thing on my Facebook page through Brown Paper Tickets for you to do that. What else? The Zazzle store is open. You just heard a long Zazzle song, and is amazing. It's so funny. People hear that song, they're like, "Oh, I love this song. What is it?" They forget what it's for. It's for the Zazzle store, where there's merchandise, stripple shirts and all that kind of stuff. And also donate to the show. We would appreciate that if you donated to the show. If you go to the website up in the upper left-hand corner, donate button is there. And also there's the Hey What's Happening page, getting updated with explosions of it and things like that. And also, Rocky with a blog. I'm having this email exchange with this trainer. I think this week, this next week is when the workout phase starts. And once that happens, there'll be a lot more blogging and stuff about it. Because, what do I write now? Still eating fruit. You know what I mean? It's like, so until I start working out and actually doing it and there's stuff to talk about, I'm going to have to, that'll be next week. But I think it's funny. The trainer and I keep sending emails back and forth, banging out these circumstances, and it's almost like we're negotiating them to a war. He's like, because I got to figure out the location and where it's going to be and what time and all that kind of stuff. And but he's been very nice to make this offer and even to give it his time. So, and once I start training with him, then I'll plug him. Then I'll say his real name and stuff instead of that trainer guy. Isn't that funny? His name is Sean, and I unfortunately his website escapes me right now at this point, but I'll figure it out next week when I start training. Why are you making a sad face at me?
I'm laughing.
You're making a sad face because you're like, oh, this is the end of podcasts. And I can't blame you. Oh, don't forget you can get the year 1 and year 2 download sets available on the website at the Joe Business page. And if you want to buy both, you can get the Super Angry Guy Gene Happy Good Time Yelling combo, as we've discussed. We haven't really discussed it. Nobody sat down with me and discussed it. I just made it up. So go ahead and pick those up. And also, I will tell you this, folks. A lot of you are friends with me on Facebook, which is great. But some of you have chosen not to be. I don't know why. Perhaps you only like being friends with me in your ears, but not physically. So you don't want people to know that you follow me or are friends with me. That's fine. But I can tell you right now, I'm very close to 1,000 Facebook friends.
Woo!
Yes. So whoever is the 1,000th Facebook friend is going to get a fun little thing. That's all I'm going to say. It's nothing special. It's nothing crazy. It's nothing to write home about. Or nothing. I don't know what that. What you?
A hand job?
A hand job? That would be very hard to do electronically. They get to. You know what? They get to watch me jerk off. There you go, folks. That seems to be a prize from what I'm understanding. No. So if you are my 1,000th Facebook friend, you will get something neat. That's all I'll tell you. So go ahead and be my and when that person becomes my Facebook friend, I will have to alert them, and then they'll have to give me their email address. But that person will become my 1,000th Facebook friend, and there will be a fun thing. That's all I'll say. So I mean, it's again nothing elaborate, nothing earth-shaking, nothing like, oh my God, I can't wait to tell everybody in the world. You'll probably not want to tell anybody about this, quite frankly, because again, it's watching me jerk off. Which does not seem like the prize it did earlier in the show. I'll tell you that. So go ahead, folks. Be my Facebook friend, and also I will tell you follow me on Twitter because I'm close to I don't know I think I'm like around 900. So but that's got some work to get to 1,000. Believe me, that's got like 3 months or 5 months or even a year. But I will say that my 1,000th Twitter person will also get something neat. So please by all means go ahead and sign up for all this stuff. Dude, I follow porn stars on Twitter, and I follow Lexi Bell, and she twittered this last week. She wrote that she saw 2 twin little people. Okay, she didn't say midget. She said little people, and she said saw 2 twin men, little people. Oh, they were cute. I wanted to go up and say hi to them. They were so adorable. And to me, that's like again that's supposedly offensive. Okay, because they're they were born that way. It's not like they wanted to be cute and adorable. You're not supposed to pick up midgets and pat them on the back. I mean, I don't think you are. At least I've never tried it. You want to, certainly. You want to pick them up and throw them in the air and catch them like a baby or bowl them and knock over pins. Of course you want to do those things with them. But she was just like, oh, they were so cute and adorable. I wanted to go up and hug them. And I'm like, again, that's offensive. But at the same time, if you're the little guy, like if you're like a midget guy, she's a hot porn star.
Yes.
Like, do you play the role at that point and go, do you like make a smiley face and like go, oh, duh, I'm, a little tiny midget guy and let her pick you up and squeeze you and do all that kind of stuff? I would think that would be the move. If I was a midget, that's what I would do. I would play the cute role all the time just to get hot chicks to fucking hug me. Until I found like a hot midget chick to bang, like a Bridget the Midget type who I was going to wind up marrying because a midget can't marry like a grown woman, right? No, they can't. I mean, the law allows it. I know that. But I don't think society should. The law certainly allows it, but I don't think society should allow that to happen at all. There was a show one time on MTV. They did it like True Life, and they showed like it was this woman. She's like, I'm a little person, and they showed like 3 different little people. Well, it had this one woman who was a little person, and she lived in her neighborhood or whatever, and she was young. She was about to go to college. She was dating a guy, a normal sized man, and she went away to school. And then this was the worst. Okay, look, if it wasn't for the MTV cameras, this never would have happened. But at college, she was a big hit. Like, she's at kegger parties, and they're like, woohoo, the party doesn't start till she gets here, and they're all, like, excited, and, like, she's a big woman on campus and friendly. But, yeah, no kidding. Literally, she was figuratively a big woman on campus. But in the MTV show, like I said, everybody was all happy to see her all the time at college. It's like, dude, not if the MTV cameras weren't there, everybody like, hey, have you seen that freak? I mean, and I don't mean that they are freaks or people like that are midgets or freaks or not even midgets, quite frankly, they're little people from what I understand. But I thought it was duplicitous of MTV to bring the cameras and then make it look like she was popular when she wasn't really popular. She was popular because the MTV cameras were there. It wasn't like, hey, we stumbled onto a popular midget. No, that's not how it worked. But the saddest thing was she was dating like this normal sized dude back home, and then she went to college and kind of started to like flirt around with people. Like she forgot all about the guy who was loyal, the guy who was the original midget lover back home. She forgot all about that dude. And then they show him, and like you part of you was like, well, maybe he really likes this girl and he likes her for who she is and stuff, just like the people at the school. But then they showed him having a party at his house, and it was like all midgets. And then you realize this dude, he's just a midget sniffer. That's all this guy is. This guy's a midget sniffer from way back. So it's like he might have liked her sort of, but in reality, this guy has like a fetish. And you know he's got a fetish because he's out there barbecuing with a pool full of midgets. I mean, Jesus Christ. Don't you have, I mean, you're a normal sized dude. Don't you have to have normal sized friends too? You couldn't just have a party that just had midgets. Like, how odd are you? Does it make him feel like a big, maybe he feels like a big man. Maybe he feels like he wants to hang out with them so he can kick their ass and the threat is there at any time that he could violently destroy everybody at his party, so he only invites over midgets. Maybe that's what he does. I don't know how this guy works it. All I know is that he was banging a midget and then stealing away to school. Why do I spit out this random bullshit that nobody fucking cares about? I am peddling obscenity. I am going to get a whole fucking army of you people, and you know what we're going to do? We're going to listen to me and then do nothing for an entire fucking week. I can't be trusted. Don't you people know this? It was like the Back to the Future of suck. I don't want to have a boner in somebody else's pants. I need to shoot up heroin and jog. Hey, ass fuck, are you listening to anything that I'm saying to you? Fuck, somebody's got to shut that old guy up. And I'm like, fuck you! I'm not a potato! I'm a goddamn cantaloupe! Hi, Mike. 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 Hi, Mike.